Hi, this is Randy from Fried Eggs Golf, and welcome to Over Easy. Now, today's episode is going to be a brief one because I'm actually on my way home. That's right. But I do have 45 minutes to burn before I need to be there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my bag in the car, grab my golf clubs, and hit a couple range balls. Today's episode is roughly based around a conversation that I had with a customer today who, I'll get to that in just a second. But before I do, I want to let you guys know that I miss you. I missed the Q&A section of Over Easy, and I want to bring it back. So what I need you guys to do is for the next episode, I need you to load the comment section up with as many questions as you can possibly conjure, and then the next episode will be a Q&A, and I will answer those questions on there. Make sense? Yeah, get my golf clubs. All right, so the conversation that I had with my customer today was, he asked me, why are golf clubs so expensive? Which, it's a fair question. Golf clubs are expensive, but it was the way in which he asked it like it was something new. Like, it's like, why have golf clubs all of a sudden become more expensive? And to me, that was a little off-putting because in my explanation to him, I said, the first driver that I ever bought was a Great Big Bertha Callaway. I say it like I did. My dad bought it, but you get the idea. It was a Great Big Bertha, and they were $299. They were $300. It was a $300 driver, brand new. And it was back in 1997, I believe was the year I purchased it. Don't quote me on that. But 1997, and if you factor in inflation, you talk about it being 2017, now 20 years later, we actually went to a website and converted it. And in today's dollars, that's like $450, which is about MSRP for, most of your drivers today. So it didn't settle well with me, and we had a little bit of a back and forth there talking about it. But you got to think, like, soon after that, you had the biggest Big Bertha came out, which was $100 more than that. So now you're talking about a $400 club back in the late 90s, early 2000s, where you consider there's $400 drivers out now. So if you think about the quality of technology that you got in the Great Big Bertha or the biggest Big Bertha, those were just titanium heads. And you wouldn't be caught dead playing one of those in a competitive round of golf today because you would be extremely handicapped by the gap in technology. I think My Golf Spy, Mark Crossfield, and maybe a couple others have done reviews on them. And yeah, there's significant gain. There's, 15, 20 yards difference between the two. So, do I have a booger? I feel like I had a booger. From there, the conversation took a little bit of a turn, and we started talking about where the money goes once it's spent on that $500 driver, because I could see the wheels turning in his mind, and just where he's under the impression that I think golf retailers or golf manufacturers are making way more money on golf product than they actually are. There's a lot of costs in manufacturing and producing and marketing and shipping and selling golf equipment to where at the end of the day, there's not as much money left over as you might think for profits. So step one, you have to design and develop the golf club. So now, as opposed to back in 1997, you have these aerospace engineers designing golf clubs, guys that should be working for NASA making golf equipment. And trust me, these manufacturers are paying a lot of money to have these guys come in here and make this equipment for them, and rightfully so, because the technology gap has gotten so small that with these guys, they're kind of thinking outside the box that they were originally thinking outside of, and it's now moved on to a completely different level. So you have guys trying to really slice away at any kind of gap that they can make between them and their competition. So from that standpoint alone, you can see where cost of producing golf clubs would increase, because you have to hire people that have way more education and way more understanding of how physics and how the golf club works in order to create equipment that can be competitive in today's market. Next, once you make the golf club, you have to have it manufactured. Now, obviously, all your manufacturers, I don't think I'm selling anybody out here, they all manufacture their equipment in China. And I actually got to meet the guy down in Augusta, Georgia. He's not from there, but I met him at the Masters, where I think they make, this is gonna be wrong, but it's like 65% of the world's golf clubs. That's hard to even wrap your brain around, but all the major manufacturers pretty much, they manufacture the club heads for their drivers for. And in talking to him, it's just like, you know, it's like those guys have to get paid too. I mean, obviously it's less expensive even with freight still than making it inside the States, so that's why they chose to go over there. But from the United States, or from China to the United States, they have to ship that. You have costs incurred there, and then once it's in the United States, then you have to tell people about it. And here comes marketing. Marketing now is way better than it was 20 years ago, and the amount of money that they're putting into marketing is way more than they ever used to. But you have to, once again, because when you got guys going out there and hiring guys that used to work for Coca-Cola or, you know, whoever, but they're amazing creative people and they make amazing creative content, you have to pay for it. And in order to do that, you have to, you know, hire the best that's out there. And in doing so, once again, your costs increase. So at the end of the day, I'm not trying to say cry for the manufacturer. I'm not trying to say feel sorry for the retailer. I'm just saying that know that when you buy a $500 driver, very little of it's going back to the retailer. Not a lot of it's going back to the manufacturer themselves. It's really what it's doing is it's really just helping support the golf community, because you have people that work in distribution, you have the marketing, you have the sales, you have the manufacturing, you have a bunch of different aspects, and obviously the golf courses, because when people are excited about golf equipment, they want to go play some more. This whole episode just feels like a big rant, but I kind of like it. But this was just to give you a kind of a taste, and this is why I like working in the shop that I work at, because we have people come in like this all the time that they spark interesting conversations that you wouldn't normally have in everyday retail world. And it's just kind of, you get to know people a little bit better that way, and you can have some heart to heart and just kind of say, you know, this is what I'm thinking, and it's good to see your perspective. So what are your guys' thoughts on it? Do you think, one, that you know, $500 drivers nowadays are worth it? As far as if you were to spend $400 on a driver, you know, 20 years ago, and $500 on a driver today, would you think that that technology gap is worth the extra money that you're paying? On the second part of that conversation, what do you think that, if you think that golf clubs are too expensive, what do you think that manufacturers can get rid of? Do you think that they need to slow down on the R&D, slow down on how many golf clubs that they produce each year? Do they need to back off on the marketing? Do they need to bring manufacturing back to the United States? Put it down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinion and how you feel, because money is a dirty word for some reason whenever we talk about golf. No one wants to talk about the price of things. No one ever wants to talk about like how expensive it is, or, you know, it's like, this is the driver, this is the price. Well, sometimes I want to be like, that's a stupid price. You shouldn't charge that much. So thank you guys for always watching. I got like, what, 20 minutes now to hit, so this is time well spent though. I love taking time out of my day, setting aside, shooting these episodes. But please do not forget to put your questions for next week's episode in the comment section below. The whole Next Over Easy episode, I want it to be a Q&A, so please put it down there. Let me know what you guys want to know. Sounds easy, right? All right, thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys next time.